All right, welcome to this Hurricane Henri update, and we're waiting for the 2 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. But I want to talk about the flash flooding, which is continuing to occur, and you can see many areas under flash flood warnings right now, and there's been a lot of flooding going on. And I want to look at the radar right now so you get an idea of what's going on. So this band right here has been sitting over Staten Island, parts of New Jersey, parts of Brooklyn, maybe parts of Manhattan for a little bit. And it's just been sitting there. I mean, it just keeps training over the same areas over and over again. Right. There's another band of heavy rain over here. That is southern part of the Jersey Shore, southern Ocean County, Stafford Township going, and you can see these bands, and they're actually getting pulled off Henri. So if we look at the satellite, you'll see what's going on here, and you can see how the moisture is getting. This is the latest satellite of Henri, but you can see this right here. Let me use green. You can see this getting pulled off. This moisture getting pulled off to the west. All right. And this is what we've been dealing with. All right. So you got all this moisture getting pulled off the storm. It's actually from the trough. It's getting sheared off the storm and being flung northwestward. The storm is continuing to still move north, but the precipitation, the moisture, is being flung off of it. And this remains a big problem when it comes to flooding. And there's been a lot of it. And we're going to go over this. I've got the 511 New York map up. And again, I've looked in the media, not really a whole lot of report about flooding here. Let's see, we got a closure here. Trying to click on that closure. And it's just showing me the camera. I'm trying to click on the closure. Flooding on Clinton Street. Oh, it's northbound ramp to the tunnel. All lanes closed. All right. We have a whole bunch of things here. Flooding on I-278 eastbound. Flooding across a crash on the Jersey Turnpike, but there's probably going to be flooding here too as well. In New Jersey as well here. So we do have flooding going on in Jersey too, I believe, as well. We got another thing here. Flooding on US 1 and 9. All right. Have some more updates here. They're all over the place. There's another one. Flooding on I-678 northbound. Federal Circle. Flooding on Grand Central Parkway, westbound at Union Turnpike. All lanes flooded but passable. All right, so you have a lot of these flooding alerts here. Let's see what this is. These are just notices about restrictions. But there is a lot of flooding out there going on. And I want to actually look at some of these areas if we can, to see if we can actually see the flooding. It looks like there's a car stuck. Yep, right there. So this is where the flooding was, right under here. You can see it looks like there's a vehicle stuck there. Yep, it's flooded right there. That's where it's flooded. You can clearly see the flooding that's occurring there. So again, it's all about the flooding going on. Let's see, flooding on I-278. This looks like it's not even moving. So yeah, we got a lot of flooding out there going on. It's kind of hard. I wish I could had some more pictures of it, but there is flooding. Let's see. This looks okay. Looks okay, but we do have flooding on the Grand Central Parkground eastbound. This ramp. So there is flooding out there. And again, the rain has kind of subsided in Queens, but it's still continuing to rain in the Staten Island area here. Oh yeah, it's pouring there. You clearly see the rain just pouring down there in Staten Island, and they're probably getting a lot of flooding there too as well. Let's see if we can get some more images from Staten Island here. But yeah, there probably going to be some flooding there too as well. A lot of rain. We're going to go over the rainfall amounts right now. Actually, that's what I want to do. We got the weather and hazards map out. We'll go over some observations too. Still under a tropical storm warning for Nassau County and the city. Hurricane warning for Suffolk. Starting to see some of those winds pick up now. We got a 25-mile-an-hour wind gust at the buoy. East-northeast to 20, gusting to 25. No wave height report here. Let's see if there's a wave height report at this buoy, which there is not. Let's see this one. This buoy's got a gust of 20. No wave height being reported here either. I'm sure those waves are coming up. But it's like I said, we have this rainfall that's occurring. All right. So I want to actually go to our historical here and take a look at the precipitation again, and we're going to go back to yesterday. So the 21st. Yeah, we can put it there. It's fine. We'll get some more rainfall reports here. And yeah, look at some of these numbers. So here you go. JFK Airport now 2.13 inches. 3.14 inches being reported in Hempstead. Still haven't heard much about what happened with the water rescues in Garden City. 2.62 inches in Great Neck. But then the city also, not sure if these numbers are correct. Jersey City saying 4.78. We have a 6.32 report in Brooklyn. 4.45 at this station in Central Park. Central Park has 4.45 inches. Wow. That is incredible. So almost 5 inches of rain falling in the city right now. That's insanity. That is insanity. We have a report of 5.36 in Brooklyn, so they got even more rain than we did. That's an incredible amount of rain. And like I said, it's just training over these same areas. 4.28 in Harrison, 3.24 in Passaic, 3.05 in Hasbrook Heights. So this is a tremendous amount of rain in this area. Tremendous amount of rain. And more rain is on the way. There's also a 3.45. I'm not sure if that Reynolds channel reads high. I know, so that one I'm going to kind of discount. But 1.56 in East Rockaway. So you can see tremendous amounts of rain in Nassau County into Queens, particularly Manhattan and parts of Brooklyn. And this has impacted subway service. And I want to get to that right now. We have some subway service suspensions. Signal problem at Prospect Park. Let's see. There are delays while we remove water from the tracks on the 1, 2, and 3. So one trains are suspended in both directions between 14th Street and 96th Street. 2 trains are running along the 5 line between Nevin Street and 149th Street Grand Concourse. 3 trains suspended in both directions between Harlem, 148th, and 34th. So it does not appear that there's any service on the west side lines here going on here. And the N also is suspended between Queensboro Plaza. There's an investigation going on for that. So the subway's having a lot of problems. And the F, let's see what we got F here. Northbound F trains are running on the G line between Bergen Street to Queens Plaza. Then via the E train, then via the E line to Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue, while our crews remove water from the tracks at J Street Metrotech. So Bergen Street to Queens Plaza on the G. So the F is not even going into Manhattan right now. So that is a big mess right now. Big mess. So if we go to the New York City subway Twitter, you will see here, and I should refresh that. Northbound N trains have resumed regular service. There was water on the tracks at Court Street. And it's not surprised with all this rain that the subways are really having a lot of problems here. There was a fallen tree branch at Prospect Park. There was water on the water on the tracks at Utica Avenue. Northbound F trains running on the G line from Bergen Street to Queens Plaza. And then via the E to Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue while crews were awarded from the tracks at J Street Metrotech. So 8 trains running on the express track. So a lot of problems here on the subways. A lot of problems on the subways. Subways are having a ton of problems right now with all that rainfall, and that's not a surprise that the subways are having problems. Long Island Railroad right now not having any major problems. It's just mainly if we go to this here, you'll see we have those changes on the east end. All right, with no service. We have no service east of Patchogue and no service east of Ronkonkoma, as you see there. And for the Metro North, let's see what they have. They are actually suspending service on the New Haven line and Danbury branches tomorrow because Hurricane Henri. So the last train from Grand Central will be the 153 to Stamford. So for some reason they think Connecticut is going to get hit hard. Let's see Hudson. And they're adjusting service on the Hudson and Harlem lines as well. So they're going through those service changes. So again, service change on and Connecticut. It could wind up Connecticut could be getting hit harder again, and a lot of it has to do with this rain that is falling. As we know, we're just getting a lot of rain right now, and it's causing a lot of problems. And more rain is on the way. Let's see if the Hurricane Center has updated and given us the latest advisory for Hurricane Henri at the 2 a.m. advisory. All right, it is finally in. So, intermediate advisory number 25A, Henri heading towards southern New England and Long Island, which they pretty much said earlier. Location 39.3 north, 71.0 west, about 135 miles southeast of Montauk Point, and about 175 miles south of Providence, Rhode Island. Maximum sustained winds are 75 miles an hour. It's moving north or 355 degrees at 21 miles an hour. So it's continuing to... It's moved a little more toward the left, but not very much. Minimum central pressure, 987 millibars, or 29.15 inches. That appears to have strengthened slightly. They're saying at the center of Hurricane... we're going to read this again. At 2 a.m., the center of Hurricane Henri was located... Henri. I'm going to make that mistake a lot, all right? It's just... The H is silent, and you got to pronounce it like that, I know. But was located near latitude 39.3 north, longitude 71.0 west. Henri is moving toward the north near 21 miles an hour. A decrease in forward speed and turn toward the north-northwest is expected later this morning. On the forecast track, Henri is expected to make landfall in southern New England or on Long Island today. After landfall, a turn to the north and a slower forward speed are expected as Henri moves over southern New England. Reports from Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that maximum sustained winds are near 75 miles an hour with higher gusts. Slight strengthening is possible early this morning, which is unusual considering how far north the storm is. Weakening is expected to begin later today. However, Henri is expected to be at or near hurricane strength when it reaches the coasts of southern New England and Long Island. Rapid weakening is expected after Henri makes landfall. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 35 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 150 miles from the center. The latest minimum central pressure estimated from data is 987 millibars, or 29.15 inches. So we look at the track again of Henri. We will go ahead and look at that again. And there you go. So there's the track. Nothing's really changed. They still haven't extended the warnings to the right. And they still haven't really downgraded any of the warnings to the left. Probably should put the Cape under a hurricane warning. I really think they should do that. Because I think they're going to need to upgrade that warning for sure. All right. Again, looking at it on the satellite, there it is. We'll look at it again. I'll also go to Tropical Tidbits, which we'll look at again. You could see that moisture, that rain just being... This is bad because this is going to go over the same areas in New York City and Nassau County that have already received a lot of rain. Originally, we thought the rain would go a little further east, but you can see that doesn't seem to be happening. It seems like this rain might go a little more over Suffolk County, maybe, But certainly there's going to be much more rain over the city of Nassau County, which is not what we need to hear, considering all the rain we've already had. Let me pull up the radar here, and we will go ahead and look at the radar. And again, I already have radar up here. I had it somewhere, but we'll look at it again here. So you get an idea of what it is, and you can clearly you can see the radar signature here of Henri right here. There it is, and you can see that rain. We're still going to get into that heavy rain, and there it is right there. It still seems like kind of a compact storm. If the winds extend outward up to 150 miles, it's mostly to the east because those buoys are not really reporting strong winds yet, and they should be. With that storm with the storm center getting a lot closer, you can see how it's sort of like getting almost peeled like an apple almost. The moisture's getting peeled off of it, and that's bringing the heavy rain. Also, heavy rain into parts of New Jersey as well. So it's gonna be a lot of rain with this, and that is going to be the main concern for the western areas. Obviously, east will be the winds more. Let's go look at. See if we can get some more observations. I wish there were some more observations we could work with the buoys. I'm going to try again, see if we can get some more observations here. See if we can get some new observations. Still, the gusts from these buoys, that's a 3 miler. This gust here, but there should be another buoy. It's a little further south. It's a little closer to the storm. But I don't see another buoy here. I really wish we had more buoys to know what's going on out here. I really wish we would. But let me go to Tropical Tidbits, and we will once again go to the current storms here and look at the enhanced satellite image of Henri, because this is kind of important because it really shows the convection. It's still very healthy, and look at how far north it is, and it's still... The convection is still going, and that's a testament to these warm water temperatures that are way too warm for this far latitude. All right. If we were to go to earthnullschool.net, which we're going to do right now, we've reviewed this 1,000,001 times, but I will review it again. With these water temperatures are being above normal. So if we go to sea surface temperature anomaly, you can see all the red. This is all well above normal, this water here, all right? Very much above normal, all right? If we were to... Let me pull this out a little so you can see this thing. Hopefully you can see this on the left here. 5 degrees above normal. 5 degrees above normal. 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Some of these are as much as 6 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. So that's quite an anomaly for water temperatures. And if we go to the actual sea surface temperature... we convert this to Fahrenheit. You'll see it's close to 80 degrees in this area. Close to 80 degrees. And you go south of it, it goes above 80. So above 80 is enough to strengthen a hurricane. But even a little... we also... This is the surface temperature. Down, but even beneath the surface, the water temperatures may be warm. So, again, even if the water temperatures are below 80, it's not going to weaken it that much until it gets into the really cooler water. All right? And that's why the storm isn't weakening, and honestly, I think it is going to make landfall as a hurricane. I'm going to say that right now. I think it will now after seeing these latest satellite loops, that this storm is definitely going to make landfall as a hurricane. Here it is again, and again, it's still threatening to have this monster so close to us. Again, I just keep hoping it keeps marching northward and doesn't make an unexpected... really stiff left-hand turn. But you can see it's definitely getting some shearing going on there. But despite the shearing, it's still going pretty strong. Let's go to the aircraft recon of Henri. All right. Get the latest Henri recon right here. And again, you can see it's that right side of the storm. That's where the hurricane force winds are. Left side, not as bad. So as long as the center tracks over here, the right side with the wind is going to be mostly over the Cape and Rhode Island, and a little less with the wind here, but still going to be some wind. But it won't be as bad as it could have been. All right. You can also look at some more observations here. This is just some more information here that you can look at. regarding the recon. This tropical tidbit site is great. I thank the people who run it because it provides a wealth of information here. Here's another mission. And again, you can see most of the stronger winds are on the right side of the storm as expected. Let's go look at the spaghetti models again. I know we've already looked at them. You can see they're all clustered to the east now. All right, so we've seen the list of the models all clustering to the east, but that doesn't mean that that may be where the storm is going to go, but the effects of it, you got to remember, as the storm moves further north, it's probably going to get a little larger in its area. So with that, I'm going to now go to the latest models that we have for looking again at these models for Henri. And I think we've already gone over the 0Z GFS. But again, you can see that heavy rain is really going to be a big problem as we go into tomorrow. And that rain, it may linger a little more now until later in the day, perhaps, because once the storm gets inland, it might start putting on the brakes. All right, even though it's still moving at a pretty good clip right now. So, again, with the rainfall, total accumulated precip, you see all the rain that we could be getting. And this is on top of what we've already gotten. All right, so the ground is already saturated. And that is another thing that when you have saturated ground, it takes less wind to bring down trees and cause problems because the ground is soft. It's another factor that we have to look at. Now that is, we'll go, we already looked at this model already, so what I want to do is I want to go to the latest HRRR model. The 5Z hasn't enough come in, but let's look at the 4Z HRRR and see those rainfall numbers first. So you can see, again, the 2+ inch rain amounts. And again, this is the rainfall for, and again, it brings most of the rainfall. The models haven't done a good job at all predicting the rainfall, by the way. So it's very possible that this heavy rain may be a lot further west. It's very hard to predict where that rainfall is going to be. But so far, it has not been, they haven't gotten much rain out east at all. It's mainly been over Nassau and the city, mostly in and around New York City, that we've seen this heavy rain. And we will go ahead and look at it on here now. This is the 04Z model. All right, so we'll see that heavy rain throughout the day tomorrow. This goes up to 20. This goes up now to 5, and it's still raining. So it still has the rain over us because the rain has gotten wrapped out on the right side of it. So I meant the left side of it. The right side of it is where you might have the clearing, but the stronger winds on that right side of it. So we may still be getting a lot of rain out of this. It's going to be a very rainy day tomorrow, even if there isn't a lot of wind. Even if the wind is not that much of a factor, it's still going to be a miserable day to be outside. This is the wind factor again. It doesn't really show the wind over the land that well, but you can see most of it's to the east there. So that's the HRRR again. And the other issue, of course, storm surge. Now, I don't think this gives us a storm surge parameter, the HRRR. I'd have to go back to the GFS for that, and we can go ahead and look at the wave height on the GFS. All right, now with that track further east, that means the worst of the waves are going to be further east. But there's still beach they've already experienced because we have a high tide as well. But again, worst of the flooding, it's probably going to be the worst of the seawater flooding is probably going to be Rhode Island and the Cape. But let's not forget that we have all this rainfall. So when you have all this rainfall coming off the land, it makes it harder for any additional water coming in from the sea to drain out. So we could still see flooding on the South Shore as well, here as well, though not as bad as further east with the storm surge. Let's now go to a different model here. We'll go to the NAM 12, which I think we already looked at, but actually, let me look at the NAM 3. This is the NAM 3. All right, now again, it's very hard to pinpoint where these bands are going to occur. But you can see here's the NAM 3, and you can see that heavy rain. And the kind of rain now. NAM 3 still winds up wrapping the rain up a little earlier and moving it just north of the area. But if we look at the NAM 3 here and the total accumulated precip, you will see again those 2, 3 plus inch amounts, but it could wind up even being more than that. So the models just haven't done a good job. We can go to the NAM 12, which actually might be a little more accurate, I think. The models just haven't done a great job, and you can see, look at what the NAM 12 does. It really dumps a lot of rain in the Hudson Valley, so that's an area that's going to have to be watched. That's why I'd rather use the NAM 12 than the NAM 3 in these type of situations. So the NAM 12 has more of that rain over us. You can see that. It's just a lot of rain. It's the big slug of tropical moisture there. And then that low is gonna kind of get stuck to our north on Monday and then move away. So again, this is going to be a major rainfall event that we have to watch out for. And I think the main threat is going to be from the rain. Let me look at a couple of other. We're going to go to the Ventus Sky site now, and we're going to use the Ventus Sky site. And we'll start with the winds here. It kind of visualizes the storm here for you. And again, you'll see here. Here's the circulation. This is using, it says HRRR plus icon automatic, so I don't know if it's using the icon of the HRRR. But this shows the wind gusts. All right, so the wind gusts not too bad over our area. You'd see it's going to start picking up in an hour or two. It's going to should start picking up on the east end, especially by 6 in the morning. And then the east end is really going to start getting hammered by these high winds, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. When I mean east end, I mean east of Riverhead. They're going to experience the really strong wind gusts, but there's still going to be wind gusts that could cause power outages, and from anywhere, I would say east of Nichols Road or Route 112 is likely here. This is the HRRRs, so you notice that the HRRR is a little further west if we use this because it is using the HRRR. All right, and again, showing that rainfall there. I meant the wind, or you can see the wind field trying to expand westward a little bit as you head on to the afternoon. Here's 3 o'clock, and now the winds have gone to the west, but now we're starting to see more of those gusts, close to 40 perhaps, even in Nassau County. So still be some power outages in Nassau. I'm not saying that there won't be. It just won't be widespread. It'll be more scattered, whereas out east it'll be more widespread. And again, this is the HRRR, which I believe is a little too far to the west, and it still is the winds cranking, even at 5 o'clock. Very strong winds over the east end, even at 5 or 6 or even 7 o'clock. This is the HRRR, which again, I'm going to have to change the model because I don't think that is the right model to use at this point, given its track record of being wrong. Let's go to the GFS instead. So here's the GFS. This is 5 in the morning, and you can see there's that wind, that strong wind, and you can see GFS being further east. It has the stronger winds, a little more confined to the east end. You can see that, though. You can still see here the wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour in the east end. I think there's still going to be a significant amount of power outages from Riverhead on east as a result of this wind. And then you have the wind, also very strong winds into Rhode Island. And these winds are going to cause a lot of storm surge flooding. And there also will be, if we really zoom into Montauk here, there's going to be storm surge flooding with this kind of wind going into the... change this back to red here. Storm surge flooding going into these bays here. All right. So these are like Napiog Bay, maybe even into Peconic Bay, and on the North Shore. Might even wind up being worse on the North Shore than the South Shore with that kind of wind coming out like that. So that's something to consider for Long Island as well, that it is these areas here on the northern parts, the Sag Harbor, they may see a lot of the flooding from this. All right. We are at 11 a.m. All right, so we are at 11 a.m. And you can see the eye would be right over Block Island right now. That's what seems to be. This is Block Island right here. That the eye would wind up passing over Block Island and then making a landfall somewhere in Rhode Island and maybe or extreme eastern Connecticut. All right. And you can see Nassau County, we're not dealing with too much wind here. It's mainly Suffolk County, and particularly, again, further east. But again, this is going to cause bad storm surge with this kind of track. You're going to have your storm surge coming in. I'll back this up a little bit here. You'll have your storm surge coming in. It's going to be bad over here in Rhode Island, some of these cities. Maybe like Providence even. I know it's a little further inland. but still, that water could be pushed up the river and up through the bay. You could have inundation, storm surge flooding in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, as well as the Cape. All right, with this kind of track. And then you throw in all the rainfall. Of course, there won't be as much rainfall on this side as there will be on this side. But still, that's just another factor that is going to cause a lot of flooding. So we move this along now. Let's move this along. It's just 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You could see it's definitely made its way inland into Connecticut, into central Connecticut, central Massachusetts, heading up in that direction. Still seeing wind gusts up over 40 miles an hour on the east end. And we'll probably see our strongest winds in Nassau County on the backside of this thing. Probably in the afternoon we'll see those gusts up to 30 perhaps. And as this thing pulls up into central Massachusetts here. And still gusting to 30. It is at 8 p.m. It's going to take a while to spin this thing down. But once we get toward 11, the winds will decrease to a point where they probably won't be damaging. But the rain is a whole other story, and that's the next thing that I want to look at on this as well. We can look at precipitation, and we can actually look at the 3-hour rainfall rate here, which this shows. So I'm going to put this on 5 a.m., all right? And you look at where that 3-hour rainfall rate is, and you can see that 3-hour rainfall rate, that heavy, look at that heavy rain, has it mostly over the east end. Now, if that does indeed happen, and you have this strong wind, you still have the chance of seeing, I think, major flooding in Napiog. This stretch right here, it still may wind up going underwater. Just a combination of rainwater and the wind blowing the bay water could cause flooding. And then we'll see more of that heavy rain work its way westward as you get into the afternoon. Here's 2 o'clock. And again, still pouring rain. 5 o'clock, we are still raining in Nassau County. 8 o'clock, we finally maybe start to see the rain end. But this would create a lot of rain. And what I can do is we can do from 8:21 at 8 p.m. So this would be like sort of the total accumulated precip map. And you can see some of these 5+ inch amounts. But again, we've seen the locations of these be off. So it could be in a different area. This heavy bit there, it could be further west. It could be more of a central Suffolk. It could be more of a New York City. It's very hard to tell what's going to happen with that. All right. But I think the GFS is still the best bet we have as far as the models go to look at what's going to happen. And we're just using these viewers to kind of explain what's going to happen. So let me go to windy.com, which is our other site that we can use to interpret some of the model data. Of course, this is using the European, so I'm going to just move this over to the GFS. And you'll see here, this is the GFS. We'll put this over to the wind gusts, and you can also visualize this as well. This kind of shows where the wind gusts are. And again, you can see that the wind is the worst wind is in the morning, late morning hours is when you're going to see that hurricane force winds, and you can see all throughout eastern Long Island, through Rhode Island, through coastal Massachusetts and the islands, and then it goes up into the Cape. And this is again later in the afternoon, though you can see the wind field start to expand as the system moves inland. It generally tends to expand, and as it becomes extratropical, so that wind field will expand, and we'll see those winds actually increase, and we'll start seeing those gusts up to 30 miles an hour, which may cause scattered power outages in Nassau County and western Suffolk, and more widespread outages, which will probably start happening earlier in the day, obviously from the earlier onslaught of winds in the morning. So we move this along. Here we are at 9 o'clock. And finally, the wind is finally letting up in Nassau County a little bit. Still getting some wind gusts here. Apparently, when it gets inland, it's going to slow down, and that's the problem. It's not going to just keep moving. And that's what's also going to help keeping the rain lingering. So let's go to the rain now. And this actually, we can actually look at rain accumulation on this. And we can see, again, we can actually do the rain accumulation map here on this. And this is the rain accumulation map that we have, at least. I could put this to next 24 hours. And you'll see, again, that high rainfall amount out east. But again, we've seen this already. The models have a hard time picking up exactly where this is exactly. But the bottom line is the potential is that you could see 5 inches or more of rain, and it's going to cause a lot of flash flooding. and that's something that we're going to have to be concerned about as well. This also maps out the waves, which we can look at as well. Again, most of that's going to be to the east, but still, that rain combined with the high tide, it could still cause some flooding. All right, and that's something that, again, we'll have to be concerned about. This also maps the sea surface temperature out too, which I kind of want to show you here. This kind of maps you can see it's just a lot of warm water, water is not cool enough. Now, if it was running into water like this, which is the water off New England, this is more like the way the water temperature should be over here, then it would weaken the storm more quickly. But I just don't. I think it's going to landfall as a hurricane. I really do. As a Category 1, not a strong Category 1, probably just 75 miles an hour, but it will, I think, landfall as a hurricane either at Block Island or Rhode Island. We're going to look at this thing one more time before I wrap up this update here. And you can see that moisture just being pulled westward there like that. It's like I said, it's like an apple or an onion being peeled open, and that moisture being flung in our direction. You can clearly see that moisture again. We're going to look at this radar one more time, and I think this radar will refresh automatically. So this is the Weather Service radar, and again, you can see that rain heading toward us here. A whole like batch over here, and then more over here. So this is the actual rain band, and this is the eye right here. So you can see here where it's all tracking, and again, if we circle this all, see here's your storm right here, and it's all tracking in this direction right here. So east of Montauk, probably over Block Island. That's probably where the eye is going to wind up. But anywhere in this circle area right here, we move this up, is going to see the most significant effects of the storm. And that's why the hurricane warnings remains in effect for Suffolk County, and the tropical storm warning remains in effect for Nassau. Even if we don't get the wind, the potential for all this rain, and you can see the rain again kind of getting peeled off here. Let me clear this off, but you can sort of see that effect right here, how it's getting peeled off the center like an onion or an apple, and it's being flung westward. And it looks like it's more now into New Jersey. But as the storm moves north, this will also move north. So we're going to get back into the heavy rain as well. So that is, again, I would avoid travel at least until 3 o'clock tomorrow, or at least unless we can bring an end to this rain. It's all going to depend on where this rain is. We could wind up dry, but it's hard to tell what's going to happen with this rain, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this rain because I think that's going to be the main for the western parts of Long Island, New York City, and even New Jersey. The rain is going to be the big factor, the flooding from the rain. Further east, you also have the rain, but then you're going to also have the wind in addition to that. So that is going to be it for this weather update. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there. It's gonna be a little rough tomorrow, but it could have been a whole lot worse right now. But I'm not going to be completely comfortable until this is north of our area. As long as that is still looming offshore, I still have to watch and see where it's going to go, and I'll keep you updated. Continue to keep you updated throughout this. It's a shame that the folks at News 12 don't have an update until 5 in the morning. Yeah, unbelievable, right? You should at least, or watch the Weather Channel. At least they stay up all night to keep track of this stuff. But anyway, that's going to be it for this one, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. It's probably going to bring a lot of rain. Have a good night.